Good afternoon. My name is Lambert Cleveland Jr. I serve as a District 3 legislator with the Ho-Chunk Nation, and I also have the honor of serving as the vice president. That is a role that is entrusted to me by my fellow legislators. I want to welcome you all here today and thank you for coming. Our nation is well known for its ancestral presence here in Daejeop, which is the Ho-Chunk name for this area. But my colleagues and I are focused on building a strong path forward while also honoring and preserving the past. Just as our ancestors shaped this land in a way that can still be seen today, we carry a strong responsibility to shape the future of this nation. Dane County has been a tremendous partner in that work. My district encompasses 36 counties, half of Wisconsin, as well as 5 in Illinois along the Wisconsin border. Through this work, I engage with many local governments, and I would like to recognize Dane County for setting a high standard in public service. I want to thank all Dane County employees, from the department directors who provide leadership and vision to the frontline workers who implement the programs and provide direct services. I especially want to thank County Executive Melissa Agard, who in a relative short time in office, took decisive action on an issue of great importance to the history of the nation. Securing the hero property in the town of Dunn stands as one of the most significant preservation achievements for the nation in the last 50 years. Along with the Kickapoo Valley Reserve, and the restoration of the former Badger ammunition property. We are deeply grateful for your leadership on this issue, Melissa. Thank you. We look forward to building on this partnership and projects in the future. As we begin today's State of the County address, I want to again welcome everyone and thank you for being here. We value the relationship between Dane County and the Ho-Chunk Nation, and we look forward to continuing this work together in a good way. Pinigiki, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Olivia Morsbach. I am currently a student at UW-Madison and an almost lifelong resident of Dane County. I've grown up and continue to grow in this community, and I truly believe that the environment that creates the opportunities available to you, and in turn, the life you can create for yourself. One opportunity that changed my life for the better was the Dane County Youth and Governance Program, or YGP. For 2 years, I served on county committees, learned from elected officials, and shared my perspective as a young person. I served on 2 committees and co-chaired the YGP board in my second year, the role that allowed me to mentor young members and guide them through the technicalities and proceedings of county board affairs. I'm happy to say I am now an expert in Robert's Rules. More than that, though, I was able to work with community leaders and see their passion and dedication. Their commitment to our community inspired me to become more civically involved and engaged in local governance, which I continue to do through college. This program is thriving because of the work of county board supervisors, including Melissa Agard, who was one of the early champions of creating this program when she served on the board and who continues to support it now as county executive. These leaders believed in the power of youth voices, and being part of this work has helped me shape my values and deepen my understanding of how local government operates in Dane County, as well as where and how young people can be impactful. Growing up here has shown me how deeply county decisions shape my daily life. They affect access to our mental health support for young people, the strength of our community safety programs, the protection of our lakes and parks, and the services families can count on when they need help. These decisions shape the community around us and the experience of growing up here. I think that young people have a unique perspective to bring to this county. We already feel the impact of local policies directly and are learning what it means to participate in their decision-making process. We see the results of those decisions firsthand, which shows why the involvement of young people is so important when creating policies and programs. We notice when a new service for the community is introduced or when one is shut down. Our experience in local government comes from us living through the outcomes personally. Youth involvement matters because it offers valuable insight into a demographic directly affected by local government decisions. So programs like YGP work so well because they treat young people as contributors, not observers. There is a value in being able to ask questions, understand how and why decisions are being made, and provide the tools necessary when youth become the new generation of leaders in the community. Most importantly, they show that youth voices have value right now. Believing in that strengthens our community by making it a place where everyone can participate. Now, when young people are included, they bring perspectives that enrich decision making. They share what they see in their schools, jobs, and neighborhoods, and ask questions that might otherwise be overlooked. As they learn how decisions are made, they begin to see themselves as part of the process. This commitment is clear here in Dane County, as shown in programs like YGP, in committees that welcome youth, and in leaders who create space for young people to both learn and contribute. These opportunities have shaped how I see local government and how I could change it as young as 16 years old. I see the effectiveness of Dane County's leadership not just by the services it provides, but also by the people it includes in its decisions. When young people are invited to participate, our community becomes stronger, more responsive, and more connected to the everyday needs we all face. Thank you all for continuing to recognize and support the value of youth voices for Dane County's future. Now, I'm very excited to be here for Melissa Agard's first State of the County address. But before we hear from her, it is my pleasure to now welcome Representative Alex Jors. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. As you had said, and wonderful speech, by the way. We are really fortunate to have great young people in this community. As you said, I'm Representative Alex Jors. I represent Northwest Dane County in the state legislature. And I am so honored to also welcome you here to the very first State of the County address in Dane County history. It is truly an honor to be here and introduce somebody I am proud to call a friend and a partner in public service, and a leader who has dedicated her career to improving the lives of so many people across our county, Dane County Executive Melissa Agard. My connection with Melissa goes way back many years ago. I actually started my career in public service working in her assembly office. And from the very beginning, I saw firsthand what sets her apart as a leader. I saw her work ethic. I saw her constant focus on helping people, whether it was addressing the rising cost of childcare, protecting clean water, expanding access to healthcare, or fighting for working families. Melissa has always been focused on solving the problems and delivering real results for the people that she serves. Later, when I had the opportunity to serve on the Dane County Board as well, I learned something important. Local government is where the rubber meets the road. Local government directly impacts our everyday lives, from public safety to transportation to conservation and economic opportunity, and ultimately improving the quality of our everyday life. And during this time, I had the chance to work alongside Melissa on many important issues facing our county. One example of our work together was addressing gun violence and making sure our communities were strong and safe, and making sure we address that issue into the future. Another project I'm especially proud of is the connection of the North Mendota Trail. This trail project has been years in the making, and under Melissa's leadership, I believe we are finally going to get it done. This project will connect Middleton to Westport, Waunakee, and beyond, creating new opportunities for recreation, transportation, and regional connectivity. To me, that's what leadership looks like, bringing people together, staying committed to the work, and getting important projects across the finish line for people. Melissa has brought economic development back into the conversation in the county in a meaningful way, because the reality is simple. When our economy works for everyone, our communities are thriving. Under her leadership, Dane County has focused on transformational projects like the redevelopment of the Veterans Memorial Coliseum, continued growth and investment in the Dane County Regional Airport, and built stronger partnerships to strengthen the entire regional economy. Melissa is a leader who takes action. I think we all know that. She believes government can and should be a force for good in people's lives. She has been fighting for affordability, equity, conservation, and opportunity. And she is focused every day on making sure the government is working for the people, even during difficult times. And that's why I'm proud to stand here today and introduce a respected leader and as well as somebody who has been a proud friend of mine for many years. Please welcome Dane County Executive Melissa Agard.
Well, I think before I walk into any room, I'm going to send Alex and Olivia in to tell the story. I am really humbled and proud to be standing before all of you today as your county executive. This is the very first ever State of the County address here in Dane County's history. And it is really a privilege to be here at such a vitally important moment for our whole community and for our shared future. And before I begin, I would like to take a moment to recognize the people who have helped, some of the people I know, you can never get everyone, who have helped make my journey possible. You know, certainly it starts with my parents, raising me within this community and instilling the values of giving back, not forgetting the ladder you have climbed up and how it is that you've got there. And then it is important, and this is where I may get a little cracky in my voice, to recognize my amazing sons. They are the 4 compass points that give me purpose and drive me to action every single day. Devin, Bailey, Keenan, and Tristan are always there to have my back, and I will always have theirs as well. Lifting up our shared future is so important. I also would like to express my deep appreciation for my whole entire family, whether born or adopted, my community, my amazing staff, and everyone has supported me along the way. And thank you to Vice President Lambert Cleveland Jr. and Olivia Marshbach and Representative Alex Jors for being part of today's event. Recognizing our past and looking forward to our future and rooting it in service is how I believe the county will move forward. I want to also recognize many of you who are in the room today who have taken time out of your Thursday to prioritize being here. Countywide elected officials, county board supervisors, chair of the county board, Patrick Miles, state elected officials, municipal and community partners, other constitutional officers representing Dane County, all of you who have taken time to be here today and care about our shared future. That's why we do this work. So here I go. After my inauguration in November of 2024, an exciting day, one that many people said, clear your calendar, go out to lunch and celebrate. I said, no, I'm ready to get to work. So the very first meeting that I had on my calendar back in the city county building, when I still didn't exactly know where my car was going to be parked or how I was going to find my way around, was to meet with our county controller. And the news that he had for me wasn't the good news that I was hoping for. It wasn't what you want to hear on your very first day on the job. The news was that Dane County was facing a $31 million structural deficit. I swallowed hard, I rolled up my sleeves, and I said, let's get to work. Bringing in department leaders, the employee groups, the county board, we've worked very hard to stabilize our finances while protecting core services that define Dane County. We work department by department to identify savings and improve efficiencies. We examined how it is that we're spending money on programs, where it is that our operations can be tightened up, ways to restore stability while continuing to deliver the services that everyday people who call Dane County home count on. The work we do is rooted in individual people. And that's the hard work of government, folks. It's collaborative, it's difficult, it's sticky, but it's about finding solutions with one another and building trust. And because of that work, we've made it through that budget cycle without a single layoff. No county employees lost their jobs. And in that year, we've cut that structural deficit in half. That is unprecedented. We're at a $15 million. I really wish I could say we had none, but great progress. So the moral of this story is that when challenges arise, we don't turn on one another. We actually turn to each other for support and how it is that we should solve the problems. And that spirit has defined this first year of my administration and my first year in office. Dane County is a remarkable place, and that's because it's not just a thing, but it's how we define ourselves as a community. 60 different municipalities, cities, towns, villages, people who are working together across more than 1,200 square miles, urban neighborhoods, rural landscapes. We're one of the strongest agricultural regions in the history of Wisconsin, and a growing hub for technology, research, and innovation. Dane County is a thriving community because we have a history of and continue to welcome people from all walks of life. And we recognize that diversity is our strength. No matter where you were born, who you love, what language you speak, how you identify, everyone deserves the opportunity to belong and succeed right here in Dane County. And that is the future we are building together. So folks, this has been a year of action, one of not standing still, not waiting around for someone else to come in and solve the problems for us, but stepping up and moving forward, building collaboration and building trust. And nowhere is that more evident in the work that we have done to protect the environment and preserve our natural spaces that frankly define Dane County. When people think about Dane County, they think about our lakes, they think about the parks and our agricultural heritage, farms, trails, landscapes. When people close their eyes, that's what they define Dane County as. Conservation is part of our identity. And with that conservation comes a legacy of former county executives, Kathleen Falk and Joe Parisi. Those are pretty big shoes to fill, but they have created a path forward for all of us. And recently, as was mentioned earlier, Dane County took historic action with the purchase of property in the town of Dunn, the Harrow property, a decision that we made to gift that land back to the Ho-Chunk, because after it all, it is their land. This is 160 acres that signify the largest land gift in Dane County's history. And more importantly, it is an opportunity, as I mentioned, to return this land back to the Ho-Chunk Nation, whose ancestral homeland this has always been. That is action, and that is what it looks like. We're not just honoring history with words, but with our actions and our decisions. At a time when our federal and our state government are stepping away from conservation efforts, and I know, folks, there are some of you in this room that are working really hard on that. I see you. Dane County is continuing to forge ahead. Led by our Land and Water Resources Department, we are continuing to strongly invest in our conservation fund. Because when opportunities arise to preserve environmentally sensitive lands, protect our water quality, expand recreation, and restore habitat, Dane County needs to be ready to act at that moment. We're also planning for the future through the creation of a sustainability campus led by the Department of Waste and Renewables. Folks, garbage is sexy. We're bringing together recycling, reuse, innovation, and economic development all in one place. And one of my very favorite memories of my very first year as your county executive was completing the 25 for 25 challenge, visiting all 25 recreational parks here in Dane County. My message to every single one of you is simple. During these wild times, Make sure you're prioritizing and finding time to get out there and enjoy these incredible assets, our public spaces. These are your lands. These are your places to be and to spend time. Go look at the new shelter and accessible playground at Mendota County Park. How about playing disc golf at Token Creek? Walk up to the chapel at Indian Lake. I'm going to continue to invest in and celebrate these gifts to our community and to future generations. And then through the Office of Energy and Climate Change, Dane County continues to lead on clean energy and climate action across our region. It's a busy office. This year, thanks to the generous support of the Couliard family, we're announcing a new solar pavilion at the Henry Vilas Zoo, along with a commitment to make the zoo fossil fuel free by 2040. So when that project is complete, the Henry Vilas Zoo will become the first free AZA accredited zoo to achieve fossil-free fuel status. And that is exactly the type of bold thinking that we need more of in every corner of Dane County. This record-breaking weather that we've experienced this spring was another reminder that our climate is changing, science is real, and we need to be ready. And that's why I've directed the Office of Energy and Climate to examine our climate resilience, readiness, and to come up with a plan. Because I know that it's not if we're going to experience more extreme weather, but when is it going to occur? And how is it going to affect us? What can we do to prepare for that? I'm going to take a moment to lift up one more major environmental milestone that we have achieved in the past year, and that's the fact that our Dane County government operations are now powered through 100% renewable energy offsets across all of our facilities. We have more ambitious goals on the horizon, and I know many of you are working hard with your own ambitious goals, but this is an achievement that we need to continue to celebrate because it reflects a broader belief that leadership means being willing to take action ourselves and show the way for other folks. So another area where Dane County has been taking meaningful action this year is in justice reforms, because public safety and justice should not be competing values. I don't believe that they are. The goal must always be to create a system that keeps communities safe while creating pathways for accountability, rehabilitation, and better outcomes. This year, the Dane County, our Dane County justice system launched the Assessment, Treatment, Transition, and Aftercare Program. We call it ATA, so spelling all those words out. And that's housed in our juvenile court program. The goal is simple: intervene earlier, support families, and create better outcomes for our young people before they enter the correctional system, before they get there. We're already seeing positive impacts and early indicators thanks to the staff in our juvenile courts program. We've also reconvened the Dane County Community Justice Council after a hiatus because lasting reform requires collaboration. Community Justice Council is led by the Office of Justice Reform in Dane County, bringing together the district attorney, sheriff, public defender, county agencies, county board supervisors, community organizations, law enforcement, so that we can do the work, the hard, gritty work, to create a more equitable and effective justice system, one we can celebrate rather than be embarrassed by. And we continue to work towards acknowledging historic injustices in our community by celebrating the work of the Prejudiced in Places Initiative through the Planning and Development Department. Through this effort and the hard work of staff and interns, young people, residents can now formally renounce the discriminatory racial covenants that are attached to their property records right here in Dane County. On a personal note, during the process, I learned that the house I bought decades ago and raised my children in had a discriminatory covenant placed on my deed. I had no idea. It is because of county work that I discovered that. And I was proud to be one of the very first residents that was able to officially renounce that harmful language from my property deed, because I know that by acknowledging history, we are going to be building a more inclusive future for everyone. And this year, Dane County is also launching the Community Court. Community Court is a court that is built around a very simple idea. For many low-level offenders, connecting people to services and support is far more effective than cycling people repeatedly through the justice system. The program will connect participants with housing assistance, behavioral health services, treatment programs, employment support, all designed to reduce recidivism and to help people regain stability in their everyday lives. And I know we can't talk about justice reform without recognizing that public safety professionals who make safety possible every single day across Dane County. That includes our very first responders, our 911 communicators, who are often the very first calm, steady voice in a moment of crisis. It includes our deputy sheriffs, who respond to calls in every corner across Dane County, meeting people often on what might be the hardest day of their life with professionalism and care. The 17 court justices, our entire courthouse staff, our DA staff, pretrial service team, family court, people who show up every single day, whose work is essential to creating and lifting up a justice system that is both effective and fair, not in tension with one another, but both. I'm going to also take a moment to recognize the dedicated professionals within Dane County's Medical Examiner's Office. In a moment of sudden and unexpected loss, they serve families with compassion, professionalism, and dignity, providing answers, supporting public safety and public health, and working closely with law enforcement and the courts to ensure that every case is handled with care and integrity. All of these folks that I have mentioned hold the system together. They support families. They ensure that people are treated with the dignity and the respect that they deserve, but also make sure that our community is safe. In Dane County, we value people knowing that they are safe in their neighborhood, in their home, and in their daily lives, however it is that they define safety. And these are the people that are on the front lines ensuring that it happens. Now I'm going to take a minute to talk about the economy. Dane County is the fastest growing county in Wisconsin. And with that comes opportunity as well as responsibility. Because the thing is, people want to move here. They want to be here because of the opportunities that we provide and the quality of life that we are building. We define our community in a way that people want to be part of it. I'm going to highlight a few ways that Dane County is helping to build for this future. First, you're here in the exhibition hall on a campus that will be dramatically changed in the next decade. For generations, the Alliant Energy Center campus has been one of the most important gathering places in Dane County. Whether it was 8-year-old Melissa having her birthday party and the Globetrotters playing in the Veterans Memorial Coliseum, or coming to the Dane County Fair, watching my children cross the graduation stage. I am sure many of you have similar stories of how this campus has played a role in your life. But in the center of this campus is the Veterans Memorial Coliseum. And this year we took a major step forward by moving ahead with a public-private partnership to renovate the Veterans Memorial Coliseum and revitalize the broader Alliant Energy Center campus. This proposal includes nearly $100 million in private investment into the Coliseum, which will significantly reduce financial risks for the Dane County taxpayers. A renovated Veterans Memorial Coliseum will strengthen tourism, attract new events to our region, support local businesses, create jobs, and position this campus for the future. This is a generational opportunity for Dane County. And it reflects something that I strongly believe in. Dane County should not be afraid to dream big and to do things differently. We're also dreaming big at the Dane County Regional Airport. In 2025, Dane County Regional Airport set an all-time passenger record, and this year is already off to another strong start. We're continuing to expand new nonstop flights to Raleigh and Boston, and the airport is one of the strongest economic drivers in South Central Wisconsin, generating billions of dollars of economic impact and supporting more than 10,000 regional jobs. But we're not going to stop there, because I know when the airport grows, Dane County grows with it. And frankly, I don't think regional airport fully captures where we're headed anymore. What do you all think about international? Yes, we're moving forward with that too. In fact, just this week, we have continued the work, the gritty, hard work that will be submitted to the Customs and Border Protection in order to pursue international designation at Dane County's airport. And while this is a long, multi-year process, it's not something that's going to happen overnight. This is another exciting step in that process. So let me make things abundantly clear. Economic development is just not about major projects and the shiny things that we talk about every day. It's about infrastructure and public works. It's about our highway department, cleaning and maintaining our roads while allowing people and goods to get from A to B. It's about supporting our veterans and their surviving spouses. It's about bolstering arts. It's about promoting the Wisconsin idea through the UW Extension Dane County office. It's about protecting our agricultural heritage. It's about creating the work of the county around the framework of economic development in order to create a rising tide that will truly lift every single one of our boats in this community. That's the power of economic development. Now I'm going to talk about community service, something that I think many people define county government by. When I served on the County Board of Supervisors, I was honored to serve as the chair of the Health and Human Needs Committee. I had a front row seat to witnessing the gritty, tenacious, hard work that is being done by the Human Services Department and their amazing staff, supporting the most vulnerable residents across our community. Simply put, one of the clearest measures of a strong county is whether people can get the help that they need when they need it. And every single day, that's exactly what the Dane County Department of Human Services works to do. One of the biggest parts of that work is in behavioral health, because the truth is every family in Dane County has been touched by mental health or substance use challenges in some way. And too often, people don't know where to turn until things reach that bubbling point, that crisis point. And that's why Dane County continues to invest in behavioral health systems that connect people to care earlier and more efficiently. Through the Behavioral Health Resource Centers, residents can assess help regardless of insurance status, income, identity, age, ability, immigration status. The center just celebrated its 5th year of operations, and thanks to the hard work of the Human Services staff, it's seen a 67% increase in the number of people served since 2021. And in the last budget, my very first budget, Dane County also prioritized the creation of an opioid coordinator position to strengthen our response to substance use, addiction, and overdose prevention. That coordinator, together with the outstanding team at Public Health Madison and Dane County, will provide critical leadership by helping to support effective community-based responses to substance use and addiction. Because when people can access care before a crisis escalates, every single one of us is healthier and stronger. Human Services is also about making sure that older adults and people with disabilities can live with dignity, independence, and connection. Through the Aging and Disability Resource Services, Dane County's helping residents and families to navigate systems that can often feel very overwhelming. You feel pretty lonely when you're navigating that for the first time. But folks are there to help. And our Badger Prairie Healthcare Center plays another vital role in Dane County's continuum of care, providing high-quality skilled nursing and rehabilitation services for some of our most vulnerable friends and neighbors. And let's not forget our kids. Through the Children, Youth, and Families Division, Dane County works every day to protect our children and support families during some of their most difficult moments. And I want to recognize foster families. After all, May is Foster Care Month. Dane County continues to need more foster parents, especially for teenagers, because every young person deserves stability, support, and adults in their lives, people who believe in their dreams and their futures. So my public call to people today is to please consider signing up to help a child in need. I've also heard from so many people across Dane County that the cost of housing is top of mind. I'm proud that our Dane County Affordable Housing Development Fund has helped to support the funding of nearly 500 affordable housing units in the last year alone. And finally, it should be noted that not all community services are within the Human Services Department. I'm going to give a shout out to the Library Services Department, who often bring joy. I remember when the bookmobile would roll in. Across the county, anytime that bookmobile shows up in your community. Community Services is also our Emergency Management Department, who at my direction facilitated the purchase of new ambulances, one we unveiled this week to support rural communities across Wisconsin, or the hard work that is done within our Civil Rights Department, ensuring that county government inside and outside is fair and equitable for everyone. I want to thank all of the folks who stand up for community services, all of the people who are there to support the needs, the health, and the well-being inside of county government and outside within our purchase of service community for the work that is done every single day. All of these things that I've highlighted today require a strong foundation of good, transparent government. And this year I directed the Department of Administration to launch 2 major initiatives. That's big, it's usually one. First is a review of Dane County's contracting practices to improve transparency, to build more accountability, to ensure we're as efficient as possible, and increase communication in and out of the government. Because taxpayers deserve the confidence to know that our public dollars that they are entrusting to us are being managed wisely and responsibly. This is also a two-way street, though, to give clarity and certainty to the purchase of service community as well. Secondly, we began an asset and space utilization study to make sure county facilities are being used in the most efficient and responsible way, and that our delivery of services continue to evolve with the growing needs of our growing community. Taxpayers deserve a government that plans ahead. It adapts. It uses public service and resources wisely. They are our bosses. We need to hear them and deliver to them. And none of this can happen without the people who show up every single day to serve Dane County. To every single Dane County employee, thank you. Whether you're plowing snow before sunrise, helping a family through a difficult moment as a social worker, caring for the animals at our world-renowned zoo, protecting public health, maintaining our parks and our roads, answering emergency calls, supporting our courts, keeping our county services running behind the scenes. Whoever you are, whatever it is that you are doing, you are the reason Dane County works. You're the folks who turn these plans, these bold ideas, into actions and actual service, into real impacts for people all across Dane County. And our community is stronger because every single one of you, and I am deeply grateful for how it is that you show up for our community. So to put a bow on it, all of these priorities and initiatives asked me to a question. How do we make sure that Dane County is not just responding to the challenges as they arise, but planning intentionally for the future? And that work led to the creation of a strategic plan. It's called Dane County in Action. And the plan has 4 strategic pillars that will guide my administration as we continue to move forward: community service delivery, economic development, justice system improvements, and environmental leadership. And together, they reflect our commitment to continued collaboration, stewardship, compassion, and planning ahead for the next generation. But a plan only matters if it leads to action. And that's why we're building an implementation team across departments to break down the silos, improve coordination, and make sure county government is moving in the same direction. Too often in government, work can happen in separate lanes. It's good work, but it's not connected work. And this strategic plan is about bringing people together around our shared goals, our values, accountability, and measurable results. Each of these pillars will include clear metrics and performance measures so that residents can see progress as we are making it and hold us accountable. Where can we do better? We'll use data, collaboration, and regular evaluations to guide our decisions, to strengthen our services, and to make sure we're delivering results for people here in Dane County. So I hope that you'll take one of these handouts on your way out that is an executive summary of the strategic plan. And we have the full plan available on the county's website. You just need to take your smartphone and take a picture of this, and it'll lead you to our website. So in closing, we're at a really pivotal and exciting moment here in Dane County. We're growing rapidly. We're facing real challenges. We've inherited problems. We're fixing them. And we're being called to this moment in time with urgency, compassion, and vision. But as I look across this room and in every corner of Dane County, I'm filled with optimism. The glass is more than half full here, guys. We're in pretty good shape, and it is because of all of you. I see communities and people who care so deeply about one another, our shared future, the dreams that children have, and those that we need to keep holding on to as well. I see public servants showing up every single day, committed to making sure that people's lives are better. And I see residents who believe that when we work together, there is no challenge that's too big for us to take on. That is the Dane County way. That's how we move forward together. It's about making sure that every person in Dane County has the opportunity to live with dignity, safety, and hope. I want to thank you all for being here today, for believing in our amazing community, and for being part of building a better, brighter future for Dane County. Thank you.